Update. Just found out that my girlfriend is actually married. Should I contact her husband? Someone has notified in my DM that I should post on an account with a throw RA in my username or else my post might be deleted. Thanks to whoever sent that. First time Reddit user. Thanks to those as well who have posted their advice. And #X200B. Previous username. _hungry28. And #X200B. Previous post. I, 22M, is currently in a relationship with a woman, 31F. We met on Tinder and it started out as a fling, but after a few months we started dating. After scrolling through Facebook for the first time in years, I stumbled upon her husband's page. They both are teachers, so it was easy to find his email. As much as I like this woman, I don't feel comfortable dating a married woman. Should I send an email to tell him? I will be referring to the woman I was with as Amanda. Fake name of course. Update. I have contacted Amanda's husband on Facebook and through his email. He responded shortly after and has clarified the status of their marriage. They are currently in the process of getting divorced and are not living together. That's probably why I never saw him around. I brought up that I've been in a relationship with his wife and it seems Amanda has never told him about us. He was surprisingly fine with it and told me to not to worry about it because they are separating anyways. Nice guy. First task down. Now onto the shit show. I waited for Amanda at her work and picked her up to drive her home. I then cooked dinner for us and broke down the news after we ate. I wanted to lay her down slowly. She immediately starts crying and finally spills the beans. She tells me exactly what her husband stated. She then tells me that we could work this out and that she'll be honest from now on. I told her that I disagree and said I think it's best if we broke up and thanked her for her company. She left the kitchen table after that and I parted ways too. I honestly thought I was done here. After going back home after doing some errands, I now see that my phone has been blasted with texts and voicemails. A total of 50 messages and 5 voicemails to be exact. I've only read a few, but she told me that she is going to come to my apartment tomorrow to talk. I deck what she even wants to talk about. I thought we were done. I have blocked her on Tinder and my other social media accounts. I'm so tired. What did I do to get myself in this situation? Edit. I didn't break up with her because she is technically still married. I broke up with her because we've been dating for almost a year now and I had to find out she was married on my own. Shit happens. Block her. Don't open the door. Don't see her. If you're done, then you're done. Life's too short for back and forth behavior. You are also very young. Don't get dragged back into this drama. Bro, my opinion? There is too much water under that bridge. Move on, take your lessons learned and don't let her pressure you to give it another try, because that is what is going to happen when she comes over. You made a good call. She lied about something when the truth would have been much easier. I think if it had stayed as just a fling, occasional hookup or whatever, she didn't really need to tell you. I think once you started to move into dating, I am making the assumption here that you are exclusive. She needed to disclose her marital status before becoming official with you. Maybe it would have made you reconsider dating her. Maybe it wouldn't have. Unfortunately, you didn't get that option. I'm glad that she was actually separated and this was verified by her husband. But I also don't think you have to go back to her or even hear her out if you don't want to. You can break up with someone for any reason you want, and this reason is just as good as any. As Op stated, they started out as a fling. Who knows, maybe she just hadn't told him yet, but had every intention to do so. When I started dating again after my wife and I separated, I told my now girlfriend, once we started seeing each other on a regular basis, that I was still technically married and in the process of getting divorced. This was a month and I think it's definitely an uncomfortable conversation to have, but it's always the best to be honest and get it out of the way as soon as you can. Do not let her in. You were also too young. Tends to be an issue. Maybe it's just me, but the 50 texts, missed calls and needing to come over may be less of a let's get back together convo and more of a what are you doing for the next 18 years and 9 months conversation. I've, 21M, been married for a year to my wife, 26F, and I'm still a virgin. What do I do here? I'm not sure if this is the right place for this or not, so I apologize if it isn't. My, 22M, wife, 26F, and I got married in February of last year, 2021. We had a small ceremony due to COVID restrictions and our honeymoon was cancelled due to the same issues. We'd been dating for 4 years prior to getting married and in that time we haven't had sex or anything close to it. We've kissed and cuddled and things like that, All good and I like doing that, but we've never done anything more. She told me that she was waiting for marriage, which is fine and I was happy with that as I have always thought that we'd get married. Fast forward to the wedding day and I'm about to explode from excitement. Firstly, I'm marrying the woman of my dreams. Secondly, we finally get to have sexy time. The wedding itself was really nice, pretty basic in a small chapel, close family only, then back to her parents' house for a meal. We then went back to my wife's house and I was ready for it, but she said she was too tired after a long day. No problem, what's one more day? I wake up the next morning and she's gone out already, no idea what time she left, and just a note on the fridge. That was almost a year ago. Every time I've tried to broach the subject she's either too tired, upset, not in the mood, or some variation of it. She's called me obsessed with sex as I was asking most days at one point, but how can I be obsessed if I've never had it? I've taken her on romantic date nights and as soon as sex is mentioned she's put off, because it should be spontaneous, so I tried spontaneously engaging, but she accused me of attempting to sexually assault her if she didn't give consent prior. I'm so confused. I've grown closer with one of her friends over the last few years. I'm also good friends with her younger brother, and I was out for a coffee with her during the week and she asked how the bedroom life was going, something she talks about with reference to herself, but I often deflect when she asks about my experiences. When I confessed that we had never done anything she was really shocked. I thought, who wouldn't be shocked about a married couple where they're both still virgins? But no, she was shocked because her friend, my wife, was incredibly promiscuous before she met me and has done all sorts of things with all kinds of different people. She estimates at least 14 lovers that she knows about. This has left me even more confused. Am I just undesirable? Why did she marry me if I'm not attractive? I waited 4 years to get married and have sex with the woman that I love, and now I'm still waiting. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Edit. I had a birthday in late January. I'm actually 22. Edit 2. A lot of people seem to be going straight to the annulment or divorce. However, I still love my wife, and we've been together for around 5 years, 4 dating, 1 married. So I'm looking for advice to fix this, not to run away from her. I appreciate the concern, but I'm here for advice on the relationship, not a way to get out of it. I still want to thank you for taking the time to read and comment. Dude, you were 17 when you started dating her? You can probably get an annulment on the grounds of non-consummation. She's lied to you the whole time. Sit down and talk to her. Preface it with you're not trying to attack her but your feelings are valid as well as hers and you want to establish what's going on. Because something smells fishy here and I can't say for sure what. It could be that she was sexually assaulted before. It could be that maybe she realized at some point she was asexual but loves you and can't imagine being without you. Who knows? But you need to try using I statements, I feel, and I am concerned, and tell her it's serious. You need to talk. And it's not something she can brush off anymore because it sounds like it's getting to a point where it's swiftly going to become a large problem. Annul the marriage and walk away. You need to actually discuss this with your wife. Not as in, I want sex right now, what do you think? But as a longer-term discussion like, hey, can we discuss why you don't want sex ever and what that means for our relationship? Start this when you're not in the mood. If she won't discuss, then tell her couples counseling or it's a deal-breaker for you. You're not obsessed with sex, wanting to have sex with your wife is normal. If it wasn't, adultery wouldn't be a thing. Having sex with other people wouldn't be considered cheating. What she did do is lie to you. A large part of your relationship is built on a lie. If you divorce her, no one would fault you. If anyone comes to you with anything negative about the divorce, just tell them that you're still a virgin. Annulment. Now. Because when you actually get into a relationship with someone that's attracted to you, you'll have to explain your previous marriage. It'll be easier to say, we were fundamentally incompatible, with an annulment. #DONOTHAVESEXWITHHER. You absolutely deserve to have a conversation about this. She must have a reason, whether it's reasonable or not is left to be decided. But it's totally unfair of her not to share that with you and I'd be very clear about that with her. Communication is key in any healthy relationship. Maybe she's got herpes or something and she doesn't want to pass it on. My wife is choosing her best friend over me. My wife has a guy best friend. They've been friends since they were 8. I've been with my wife for 7 years and married for 6. I never had an issue with their friendship, I even considered him a friend. He is married with 3 kids. They recently went camping together. After my wife came back from her trip, she told me that her friend said he's in love with her and that they kissed. Nothing more apparently. I was and still am furious. I went to see the guy, things got physical. I told my wife he's out of our lives and I don't want her to even message him ever again. She told me she can't do that he's her best friend and nothing like that will ever happen again and that I'm overreacting. I know I should just move out, leave my wife. But we have 2 daughters, I don't want to ruin this family. Should I just accept that she has a guy best friend? She has looked you in the eye, told you she won't leave him alone. Your feelings don't count to her. Don't let your daughters think this treatment is okay. It's already over and it's her fault. You might not want to ruin your family, but she doesn't mind. Personally, that would be a huge deal-breaker for me. You expressed it's not something you're comfortable with, understandably, and she is choosing to completely ignore your feelings. Having a different sex best friend is one thing, but once they have confessed feelings the whole dynamic changes. I don't want to ruin this family. You're not. She is. Should I just accept that she has a guy best friend? He's not a best friend. He's a boyfriend. You had no issue when he was just a friend. He took advantage of your trust by declaring his interest in your wife is taking advantage of your trust by asking you to tolerate their friendship. And do you really believe they only kissed? The problem isn't that she had a male best friend. The problem is that she cheated with her male best friend and she wants to continue this friendship. Reconciliation isn't possible if there is still contact with the affair partner. I don't think it was just a kiss. They're having an affair. Talk to a lawyer and tell his wife. Their affair won't stop and they will be worse when they realize that you won't leave. Edit. Happy parents equals happy kids. She doesn't have a friend, she has a romantic interest she is refusing to act appropriately with and more so now, refusing to choose the only acceptable option. Bye-bye friend. My advice, do what I did. When my wife's boyfriend was causing issues, she got 2 choices. Keep the friend and lose our marriage or dump the friend and keep the marriage. She did not choose wisely, so I instigated divorce and have 0 regrets. If they were alone camping then more than kissing happened. Full score. Turns out the guy I'm dating is married. How do I best handle this? Hello. Met a guy from Tinder and had been dating for 6 weeks until he ghosted me for a week. I wasn't sure what happened so I started doing detective work and found out he is married. I really like him and I'm so hurt now. How do I handle this? He messaged me 2 days ago wanting to hang out again but I haven't replied. Should I confront him about this? Should I message his wife? Or just block and move on? I feel played, used and lied to. I never consented to being with a married man. And feel there should be consequences for him for using people. I'm confused on how to best handle this. Help please? Get screenshots. Contact the wife with your story and the screenshots. Block him. You don't like him, you liked the persona he made up for you. It's not your fault. Send all of your detective work to his wife and then block him. Consider yourself lucky that you dodged this bullet. Trust me, if he does it to his wife, he will do it to you. His wife should know. It probably wasn't the first time he cheated and probably won't be the last. If I were the wife, I'd want to know. More than likely he's deceived you both. I second sending her screenshots. Contact the wife. It must have been upsetting. But let's do the other woman a favor too. Big hugs. You are 6 weeks into a relationship built on a lie. You deserve better. I don't see any reason why you need to respond to him at all. Keep it moving, he's not worthy of your heart. How easy would it be for this fellow to get your contact info? Like where you live and/or work? Because while I'm sure that you're going to get replies telling you that of course you should tell that wife because she deserves to know, I'm thinking about your safety first. You don't want to do something that might trigger him and have him come after you. If he can't get to you if you block him, then go ahead and message the wife, knowing she may not believe you anyway, and then move on with your life. Otherwise, just block and move on now. Don't be confused, just end it. Tell his wife if you want to. Stay away from liars and cheaters.